Markets closed last week to the tune of a disappointing jobs figure. But what will shape investor sentiment over the coming days? Harald-Magnus Andreassen joins me down the line to discuss in the Dukascopy week ahead. Harald-Magnus, we await an RBA decision as well as rhetoric from the BOJ, the BOE among others. But at this stage, are the markets telling the central banks what to do? Or do you believe the central banks are still in control of the situation?
Well, central banks are never in the control of the situation, I guess. What's becoming obvious now is that most central banks most likely will wait longer than expected before starting to hike. The weak wage inflation in the US and some signs of slowdown in the UK indicates that those central banks will not be too eager to hike rates, at least before Christmas.
European stocks are mostly in the green at present. Already data showed Sweden's industrial production increased at a faster than expected pace in August, while orders showed no variations. The country is now flirting with a 6-day week, but what do you make of the suggestion Sweden's negative interest rates experiment has turned economics on its head?
I'm a bit puzzled by the negative interest rate in Sweden because the economy is now growing at a quite normal speed. As I said, in manufacturing production picked up in August following a decline in July. But if you look at the broad picture of Sweden, it's pretty good. And in fact, inflation, if you take away the impact from lowering of energy prices, the core inflation is at 1.5%. And that's the average of the past 20 years. So growth is normal, inflation is normal, and house prices are increasing much more than normal. Debt is increasing much more than normal. So I really struggle to find good arguments for the central bank in Sweden to keep interest rates at such a low level. It's more easy to understand that that low interest rates should be warranted in the Eurozone or in the US until now.
Thursday we'll see ECB and FOMC minutes released. Mario Draghi said after the last meeting there was no QE discussion at present. But despite this, the market seems to be roiled with anticipation of further action. As a Fed hike seems to be pushed back yet further, do you see euro-dollar reaching 120 or closer to parity at this stage?
Well, if the ECB should be more aggressive on quantitative easing, which might be the case, but I really doubt that will happen near time, that would be an argument for a weakening of the euro, not a strengthening. But I think the overall picture, the long-term outlook for the euro is positive in the sense that I think the possibility for an appreciation is larger than the opposite, the depreciation from here. And the reason is quite simple, that the euro is well below an average level, not specifically versus the dollar alone, but trade-weighted and adjusted for prices in between. So the purchasing power parity for the euro is above the present exchange rate. So that's why I'm positive to the euro long term. And besides, I think the European economy is doing rather well. Growth is lower than in let's say US over time, but that's mostly due to less favorable demographic development.
And what else should our viewers keep an eye out for, Harald-Magnus? Are there any potential surprises on the horizon?
No, not this week. We got the PMIs out now for September, and they show the marginal decline from August, but still globally indicating okay growth. So, well, you never know when the surprises will turn up, of course, but I don't have any specific on my blog now.
Harald-Magnus, great to speak with you once again. Thank you. Well, viewers, also today we have an economic update on Russia, predictions for the Turkish lira in our forecast programme, and a breakdown of the Portuguese election result. So make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV. Goodbye for now.